A very good morning, team, and welcome back to another daily market outlook. We're going to start with EURUSD, and obviously, before I actually start with EURUSD, let's have a look at NZDUSD because I closed some partials on both my EURUSD and NZDUSD shorts for around 5.5k US dollars. If you look here on the chart, guys, again, NZDUSD selling in towards the downside exactly as we were waiting for and as we were predicting from that free monthly and that monthly open. But before I dive into the technicals of that, let's start off with our favorite pair, which is EURUSD, and again, sold off in towards the downside exactly as we predicted. Now, looking here at the 12-hour chart, we can still see that we're looking for further downside in towards these two equal lows and potentially also in towards this overall liquidity low, where I'll be taking more profits on EURUSD positions and then be scaling out as we'll be entering the overall, let's say, amber zone, which is the orange zone, which starts to take place after a break of structure in towards the downside. Now, when we look at an overall trend, my overall kind of like aim of the game is to be in the impulse until the break of structure line, because that for me is kind of like the so-called green zone. And after that break of structure line, you start getting into the orange zone, where at any point in time, you could potentially expect a retracement to happen, right? There's no guarantee that that retracement will happen because, as you can see in the past, the market just keeps on pushing in towards the downside here pretty much as well. However, we've seen more than enough times as well that, for example, here after the break of structure, you straight away see kind of like a major retracement back down towards previous areas of demand, where then, for example, your entry would be, and it would be a lot harder to kind of like manage your emotions, and obviously also the drawdown that you're then going to have to be managing. Now, overall, for EURUSD, I'm still then waiting for that overall for the downside. We can clearly see that from the analysis from yesterday, it has been playing out to absolute perfection. We rejected the overall weekly open yesterday, and we've been following the overall supply chain further in towards the downside, and I will continue to do so with supply still here being in control. So I'm looking for further short positions on EURUSD. Obviously, we're getting to a later stage of the overall leg. The better positions were taken in yesterday's video or the day before, when I clearly stated that I was looking for those EURUSD shorts, as we're still well within the overall bearish phase, right? We see here the push down, pull back, push down, pull back, push down, pull back towards the monthly / free monthly, and now we're still well within the impulsive phase, and we're now looking to target the overall liquidity low that we have here and also the equal lows here. So still looking for a little bit of further downside, and that's where I'll be taking the rest of my profits off of the table, as this for me is a relatively significant liquidity low where I'll definitely be expecting a potential bounce from that I don't really want to kind of like experience when I'm still in a short position. So that's your USD. Then looking at the dollar index is extremely bullish. Yesterday, again, I was sharing that we were going to take out these two descending highs, which we've taken out. Now, for the dollar index, I'm still looking for a further breakout in towards the highs, guys. As we can again see, and this is what I love about kind of like trend lines, a lot of people were shorting the overall third trend line touch on the dollar index on the daily time frame. So the way that it looks like is that you have the 1, the 2, and then here the third trend line touch, and you see some bearish candlesticks. A lot of people start getting into shorts, and now we're starting to break out in towards the upside. So I'm still looking, and I've been talking about this already for 1.5 months, the overall NFP high of the 1st of August. So I'm still looking for this to continue pushing up higher here for the dollar index. And yeah, we could see a retracement in the meantime. As obviously, if I just remove the green zones, I hope it's all clear enough for you guys. But if we look here on the daily, we can see here that we have pretty much this now as the daily direct imbalance or sell for the buy up. So if we were tracing towards there, that would just be another opportunity to look for potential further longs on the dollar index. So either we just look for direct upside, or we see first of all retracement in towards that demand zone, and then from there I'll just be looking for further long positions. So yeah, still long on the dollar, and yeah, been calling this also for weeks. So yeah, let's just stay in that. Then we go to GBPUSD. GU has made its move. As you can see, it's kind of like stalling. Now, again, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, the main movers are going to be, for example, pairs that have to catch up, as, for example, NZDUSD, which we showed at the beginning of the video and which I'm going to highlight in a second. But GU has kind of like fulfilled my overall objective. I still expect this to continue pushing down lower, in the sense that it is still bearish, and as long as the dollar is bullish, it should continue. But obviously the pound has made a massive move, so I don't expect there to be much more downside. But yeah, any potential retracement could just be another opportunity to look for some further short positions. So let's wait for this to reaccumulate the move has happened, and now we're just looking for kind of like liquidations. So for example, here we have a liquidity high, and let's say price comes back towards that overall high, and then for example gives us the change of character again, then we could look for a new short position, but for now GU is not of interest. Then we go to AUDUSD. So AUDUSD sold off again in towards the downside. Now for myself, AUDUSD is not very interesting. I'm more in NZDUSD, as I shared at the beginning of the video. Main reason being is because on the daily time frame, for me, AUDUSD is bullish. So here we have the breaker structure up, swing low, swing high. We liquidated the very last low over here, right? So this low is the last low that got liquidated, and after that low, we've been pushing back in towards the highs. We still have some equal highs open here. So maybe this demands and will in the future push the price up higher. So I'm not really looking to trade AUDUSD at the moment until we see kind of like a real clear liquidity high get grabbed on the dollar index, which could facilitate the dollar pullback, and then a DXY pullback that could then facilitate a further leg up again on AUDUSD. But this is not necessarily a trade that I'm looking to capitalize on. I'm more focused on EURUSD and NZDUSD. So NZDUSD extremely bearish. Again, guys, this thing, I've been calling it pretty much every single day. I don't know what else I can do than just in these videos say where I'm expecting it to head. The title of the market outlook videos have been literally sell EURUSD to zero, and it's playing out. So it's all up to you guys then to capitalize with me on that. Now, on Monday, I'm going to be opening up a group where you can then follow the actual trades that I'm taking, like these NZDUSD shorts as well. But again, the monthly free, monthly open, and then from there we see beautiful around 80 pip push in towards the downside. And all we're doing again, guys, is what I preach every single YouTube video. We're looking at the overall impulses, and then within the overall impulses, we identify the liquidity highs. And every single time you take out the liquidity highs, that's when the overall kind of like continuation trade plays out. So when we look at this first impulse in towards the downside that we had here, what I'm simply just doing is I'm looking for, hey, here we have the liquidity high, liquidity gets taken, and then we get the change of character, and then the downside starts. Now, the same went for over here when we took out the high itself, because these were descending highs. We took out the descending highs, and then from there we start selling off. Now, once again, over here, we took out the internal high, right? So here we had a high, and here we had a high, take out the high, and then the sell-off happens. And now, once again, what happens here, we take out an internal bump in the road. We just failed to take out this one, maybe this one, but we had the monthly free open, so that was good confluence to look for shorts. And from there, we've been selling off in towards the downside. So now, again, my overall target for NZDUSD is just to form a new lower low. So where we're now inside of is potentially the impulsive phase, right? As we've been seeing 4 hour change of characters in towards the downside, 1, 2, 3. So all I'm simply doing is looking still for further downside. Maybe NZDUSD would come up to take out this internal liquidity high. If it does, then I'll just look for change of character and then look for further short positions. As again, within the impulsive phase, every liquidation is another opportunity to look for a short. So I'm really happy with NZDUSD that I'm already in that, and I'll be looking for further scale in if it does retrace. And that would be the only setup that I kind of see. On top of the weekly open, together with pretty much that liquidity high over here. So if it does push up higher, then I'll get into that shorts. Obviously, I'm already in shorts from pretty much the 4 hour fractal break up here. But still, and after rejecting this monthly free, monthly open, but still, yeah, a very good position. And I'm still looking for this to head further in towards the downside. Together with EURUSD pretty much being my top pick. So EU and NU pretty much my top picks. For EU, pretty much the same. Only if it does retrace, there will be another entry. The other entry would be if we liquidate this high. So either we do this and then I'll look for a short position, or it just sells off from here directly. Either one of the positions I'm happy with. Obviously, I'm already in it, and I know a lot of you are in it as well. And we're just looking to target what? Looking to target the equal lows that we have positioned over here. So that still is and yeah remains my target there for EURUSD, and EURUSD is currently in as well the 1 hour impulsive phase. So again, what happened is that this pullback phase then gets broken in towards the downside, and then from there we can look to follow with the overall trend, and liquidation, that's just another entry possibility. Now there's no guarantee that that liquidation will happen, but if it does happen, then yeah, great, another entry opportunity. Now going into the dollar pairs, so USDCAD, USD Swiss, and USD Yen. USDCAD called that stuff to absolute perfection in yesterday's market outlook as well. We liquidated the overall low here, so pretty much the last low on the daily time frame. So again, what do? We look at the overall impulse up. Now, USDCAD was not my favorite position, if I'm very honest, because we came from another liquidation high over here. But if we look at the direct momentum, it's obviously still bullish. So then what happens? We liquidate the low, which is resting on the 0.5 fib. We reject the monthly and the free monthly open. The internal trend is bullish, right? So we see the push up, push down, push up, push down. And now we're just looking for the next push up. So the direct momentum is bullish. We take out the trendline liquidity here, right? So 1, 2, 3, boom, massive liquidation event, comes all the way back down to the very first low of the trendline, V-shaped reversal. So I'm just looking for this to continue pushing up higher. I know a lot of the guys are already in this, so like Louis, Jimmy as well inside Discord. Again, if you're not inside Discord, link in the description of this video. And then yeah, you can enter either like this or you can enter like this. But yeah, it's looking good to still further push up higher. USDJPY. The yen has obviously still been weak. I've been still bearish on the yen, right? There's nothing really much that has changed. Obviously, the yen is now after the break of structure line. So that means that we can expect a pullback to happen somewhat in the near future. So again, we're entering the orange zone now, right? So after the break of structure line, that's where the orange zone is. So that's when you want to be in positions already. You don't want to be entering new positions at the break of structure line. Then if you go to USDJPY, then what do we see? We're currently in the orange zone. Now, obviously, the targets are 154.805 and then this high and then this high. So these are the free blue dotted lines with the yearly open kind of like being my main target to then look for potential pullback play. For now, it remains bullish, so we can only look for longs on UJ. And anybody who's trying to sell it is, yeah, smoking something that I need as well, I guess. It's extremely bullish, so let's see if we can get another push up. And then, yeah, see in the future, maybe we can get a new long because we're forming some nice liquidation lows. So then I would be looking at this low indeed over here, and then we have these lows over here, and then pretty much we have this low over here. So these are then the free lows, and then this would be your overall kind of like entire impulsive phase in towards the highs, with this here being the breaker structure line. And then in the future, we're then obviously looking for new longs from either this, or from either this. So that would be then the future long position. Or if I'm going to be taking a short, then I'll be looking for a short from the yearly open and from that liquidity high. So these are kind of like the positions laid out for UJ that could be playing out in the near future. And then we have USDCHF. So USDCHF, again, in this bullish phase with the dollar being bullish. I mean, USDCHF is a tricky one because overall the Swiss is relatively strong, hence why also the market structure is bearish right here on the daily after seeing this break of structure. Now, it's just not a pair that I want to be in, if I'm very honest. Looking at the 4-hour time frame now, it's very likely that we're going to take out these descending highs here. So I see some short-term upside still first before any further downside. So it's not necessarily a pair that I want to be in at the moment. So I'm just, yeah, not really looking at this. It's kind of similar to AUDUSD, where the market structure is just not aligning with the overall kind of like trade that I want to take. So I don't like being in those kind of positions where I would then focus on like a USDCAD, a USD yen, an NZDUSD or a EURUSD. And then, of course, we have gold. So gold, what is gold doing? Now, gold is pushing back up higher. So I'm happy in the near future to look for more longs. I think it's very likely that we're now going to continue pushing up higher. Yesterday's video, I mentioned I'll probably wait for kind of like a daily break of structure of this line over here. But I'm happy to look for some more longs to take out these descending highs, if I'm very honest. So I'll be looking for some further upside after we liquidated this here. So yeah, looking for more longs from gold. I personally don't really trade gold very actively at the moment. So it's not really a pair that I'm in at the moment, but looking at the 1 hour time frame, then simply all we're doing is looking at liquidations. This here, for example, would be a nice liquidity low. Just failed to take that out. But in the future, once we build some more liquidity, then yeah, we can look for some more longs and then look to enter on the low or on the liquidation of the lows. So for example, over here we have a bump in the road. Here we have a bump in the road. Then here we take the bump in the road out. Here we get the 1 hour change of character, and from there we head pushing up higher. So look for these kind of like liquidations of little bumps in the road, right? And then we can look for longs again. So yeah, the high time frame remains bullish. There's still institutional demand for gold. It's just some unwinding of positions. But I'll still be looking for yeah, further longs on that. I'll do an update fundamentally on gold as well inside Discord. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much. Wishing you all a fantastic trading day. Any questions, let me know inside Discord. Link in the description of the video. I'll be going live inside Discord most likely as well today. And on Monday, big announcement regarding the private group where I share those positions as well. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining. Fantastic trading day. Speak soon.